Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Foxy here. If you are new and you have gone and scrolled through my page, look, if you like some of my content, please don't forget to subscribe so you can be up to date to some of my latest videos. So today I'm going to be doing a run through of information that will help people if you are someone who is overseas at the moment, overseas meaning outside of New Zealand, and you're thinking, hey, I'd like to check out New Zealand and I'd like to maybe relocate my family to New Zealand. Well, I have 6 tips here for you that will help you with that move. At least something to just consider, right? I did a similar video to this about moving my family to Australia, and I did 10 tips on what to consider before moving to Australia, and people loved it. People found it very useful, so I thought, hey, why not do the same for New Zealand? I'm gonna put a disclaimer in there. At the moment, we are experiencing a global pandemic, and some of the information that I'm giving you may not be valid in the sense that it will probably apply a year ago, but may not apply in the future because we don't know what the future holds. But some of the sites that I will be giving you will be putting upgrades anyway and updates, so you can still rely on that information. First and foremost, let's get into it. Visa information. So to find out different ways of entering the country, obviously post-pandemic, you can visit immigration.govt.nz. See, all the links I'll be giving you will be in the description below, so don't get your pen and paper out, I got you. So this is a site that's very useful if you're considering moving over. It has tons of information of different visas that may apply to you. If you have a family member already here, obviously that will make the visit a little bit easier. And if you are single, there are different avenues that you can travel or here by. Another thing, if you are a working individual or you have a great qualification that New Zealand requires or New Zealand has a shortage in, you have an advantage. So I highly recommend visiting that website, immigration.govt.nz. It will give you tons of information on visas. So the second one is jobs. Jobs. Obviously, you need to financially sustain yourself when you're in Aotearoa. And the best way to do this is to go to a few websites. So if you are still overseas and you are looking for jobs or you're looking for vacancies and roles here in New Zealand, there are a few websites to visit. WorkHere.co.nz is one great site. You can apply directly from wherever you are, and then that will give you opportunities that where we have career shortages, and that will apply to your qualification also. So the second one is workingin-newzealand.com. Visit that also. That will give you more information. I think this one has agencies. So agencies are a great way to get your foot in the door, especially when you don't have New Zealand experience. What it is you work for an agency gets you places. Sometimes, and most of the times, it's temporary work, but it's helpful in the sense that you're gaining experience in New Zealand until you can obviously find a full-time permanent role elsewhere or in whatever field you're after. This is career.govt.nz. careers.govt.nz, trademe.co.nz. TradeMe is a little bit of a unique one. It has a bit of everything. TradeMe is like the Craigslist of New Zealand, right? It has, if you are looking for furniture, you'll find furniture on TradeMe. If you're looking for houses, you'll find houses on TradeMe, and we'll get into that next. So TradeMe is great in that it's a very reliable but independent site also. You can create a profile. It's very user-friendly. You create a profile, then you apply for the jobs that you want through the site, and it's really user-friendly, and you get to save your CV on there, and then you can just be applying for different roles. You don't have to always just tweak your cover letter here and there. Super easy. Now, if you are after career-specific roles, I recommend visiting newzealand.govt. Oh, sorry, it's newzealandnow.govt.co.nz. Now, if you go onto this website, it'll give you a run through. It has tons of information on what you need, but it will give you a run through of specific job sites. Like if you're in the field of health, there's a link there that will take you to health specific jobs. If you are in engineering, there's a field there that takes you straight into engineering. So this is really good for people who are highly qualified and are looking to fill our shortages. Now, moving on to housing. So it's one thing to get the job, but you need somewhere to live, right? So we have a few major cities in New Zealand. A little run through: Auckland, Wellington being our capital, Hamilton, and Christchurch. I'll just narrow down on these ones. The houses and housing in these areas are very competitive. As you can imagine, if you are wanting to live inside or by the city, I recommend fishing around and looking around and trying to see where you are working and just the commuting. You want to live within 30 minutes of where you're working when you consider transport and traffic and all of that. So I would recommend, if you're looking for housing, to visit trademe.co.nz. Again, you just go there and it's really user friendly. You go residential for renting, and then you look for the region that you're in and the city that you're in, and you can adjust it to whatever your needs are. So if you're just a single person and you are wanting to flat, you can also look for a flat. But if you are a family, then you're after something a little bit bigger, maybe a 3-bedroom house, so you can adjust your specs there to get what you want. I cannot give you house prices because they're constantly changing. That's something that TradeMe would be able to help you out with if you filter it out, right? Now, to apply for a house, you will see different property agencies will be posting vacancies, right? So you can actually click on their profile on TradeMe or get their contact details and just tell them, people in New Zealand are super, super helpful and very laid back and I know a lot of people say this, easygoing, but really very approachable. And it's easy enough to, explain your situation, say, hey, you're new to New Zealand, but you've got employment. This is your ID. Here are your documentations. If they require a reference, they'll ask. But it's just a matter of going in there, and just presenting yourself and asking for help. If you have any properties that meet our requirements, please let us know, But yes, so ID, a reference letter is what you generally need also. And sometimes a letter from your employer to back your application up may be required. So just have that in the back of your mind. So in New Zealand, we pay rent weekly. Some places will do it fortnightly, but it's very common to do it weekly. And so in order to move into your home, so the moving in costs, you need 1 week's worth of rent in advance that you pay to your agency. And then you have 3 to 4 weeks worth of bond. Now, bond is to cover any damages once your lease is over. And this one is held in a different agency. And if you kept your place well, you get your bond refunded back to you. But, that's between you and your property manager. Now, moving on to ID conversion. So if you have if you're moving over to New Zealand, you have a foreign license. So the best people to get in contact with is nzta.govt.nz. This is an agency. This is our transport agency. They are the best people to go there, write them an email or give them a call and ask them how to convert your license, wherever country you come from, into New Zealand. And they'll give you a lot of information. If you don't have a lot of luck, because I visited the site and it's a bit everywhere, vtnz.co.nz is another one that is very user-friendly. They usually have their contact details there. It's easy to just call them up, whichever region that you are or you will be living in, and ask them what you need to do in order to convert your license to a New Zealand license. Sometimes if you are, for instance, if you're coming from Australia, you can still drive with your Australian license. I think they give you up to 3 months, but it's super easy. Sometimes you don't even have to sit a test. But it all depends on what country you're from. Now, point number 5 is IRD number. Now, this is very crucial, especially you need to get this before you start working. This is what will help you pay tax, right? It's your number that links you with a tax agent. Straight and forward. Here in New Zealand, we pay tax automatically through our wages or your salary. But before you join any employer, you need an IRD number. Now, this one, in order to obtain this or get more information on how to obtain this, you visit ird.govt.nz. This is for, obviously, like I said, tax purposes. And if you are wanting to start a business also, you need to have an IRD number. But anyway, visit the site. Is the best place to give you lots of information about that. Now, to my sixth point, now that you've got a place, you need to think about power and electricity. Power and internet connection. So, what I have is a bundle, right? It just makes it easier for me. I've always gone everywhere we've moved to, we've always done bundles. So I would probably recommend, if you're new to the country, it's easier to just go with a bundle. Nova Energy. If you go to Nova Energy, just Google Nova Energy. They offer bundles for both your electricity and your internet. And sometimes, depending on what you use, we use gas over here, so it includes gas as well. That is super easy and convenient in that you get one bill, right? You get just one invoice with one company. You can even set up a payment method so you don't even have to worry about it, right? So to my seventh point, New Zealand, I would say we have good public transport facilities, right? If you're new in the country, you'll find it a little bit difficult in the bigger cities, like Auckland, but I know Wellington has great transport systems, and Hamilton also has great transport systems. You just need a card that will, you top it up monthly or however much you use it. You top it up and it gives you discounted pricing on public transport. Now, if you don't want to use public transport, visit Trade Me. Again, will help you find a secondhand car, and then you'll be good to go. It's super, super easy. And if you find it very difficult, it's always easy in New Zealand because people are approachable. You can ask your neighbor and your neighbor can help you. You can even ask your employer to help you with some of these things, and I'm sure they'll be willing to. It's the Kiwi way, We're just super kind and super easy to deal with. But that concludes it for today. So I hope these 7 points help you. And it makes it easier for you, and these resources can help you see whether or not you want to move over, and hopefully it'll make it easier for you if you're considering coming and joining us over here in Aotearoa. Thank you so much for tuning in. Comment below if you have any more questions. I am always quick to respond to my viewers. I am happy to help you whichever way I can, and if I can't, I can direct you to someone that will know better. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you on my next video. Ciao!